Today is the Battle of Masses, and we have some ginormous allied armies here for you today, for the French to try and beat and conquer. The hordes have been unleashed. The coalition have sent every man, child, I don't know, literally the pensioners. They are scraping the barrel. They're sending everyone against Napoleon's armies here to try and defeat him once and for all in today's NTW 3 battle, as we have four very, very different sort of armies here today. We have Spain, 1809, which have already successfully routed some Russian troops over here. So this is Russian, like, 1807 or 1808, I think it is. So it's like the Imperial Russian like faction that there is. And this one here, yep, and there's, it looks like the Grenadiers, Caballo over here. We also have the HRE, of course, another great mass faction. These guys can bring thousands of troops. We do have the Brits here, which kind of do go against the grain, 1811. Britain, but they're a solid faction to bring. And then the final faction are the Mamelukes. And I've looked at the end results already because people send them in. So I get a screenshot and I can then add it to the end of the video for you guys to look at it. And the Mamelukes have over 6,600 troops in today's game. That is generally two armies alone, as the Spanish go in again. It looks like the Russians are going to get some revenge on the Spanish there. Actually, that looks like a Guard Cossack. That is a Guard Cossack unit there. Yeah, that's definitely going to beat the Spanish Castores there. But yeah, we do have some absolutely massive armies here in today's battle, which is, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And we don't see the Mamelukes very often, which is also very, very exciting. And the reason their units are so massive, or like their armies are often so massive, is because of some of their units. We'll just go straight back over. Most of their units are like peasant type units, which are all over here. That's a 487 man unit, which is literally just guys with swords going into battle. Yeah, really, the Mamelukes are very technologically advanced, as you can tell at this time. They are using the best available weapons they can find. But against them today, we do have 8-point France, Spain. We have 11-point Russia center. We have yeah, it's not 1808, it's 1804. My apologies, 1804 Russia. And then we have also the France Egypt faction, which is quite appropriate since we have the Mamelukes here today. But yeah, I think like the Spanish army has 5,000 troops, 5,100. HRE, which is typically seen as a pretty big army when it appears, is a measly 3,800. Yeah, the Mamelukes are, yeah, 6,300, not 6,600, but 6,300. And then, yeah, the Brits are just under 1,200 troops. A tiny army in comparison. But yeah, I think the French are vastly outnumbered in some of these. I mean, they've got some big armies though, like 2,800, 2,300, 2,700, and 1,900 for the Russians. So I mean, some pretty big armies really in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, nothing on the Mamelukes and the Spanish, that's for sure. They have 11,000 troops alone. Which is insane. But yeah, obviously numbers is not everything. These guys have pretty much no morale, and obviously they've got to get into melee against in an era where gunpowder is very much at the forefront. But yeah, I kind of started the video because there have been a few engagements, and the Imperials are starting to show themselves now. I thought we were going to have a little bit more action. There was a horse artillery that ran all the way up to this town over here. As the Spanish were arriving, clearly saw the Spanish army arrive and U-turned so quickly out of there. Horse artillery is like the fastest thing around. Here it is, actually. It's still, you know, playing very dangerously right now. And I was going to say the Spanish dragoons might just be about to get it. Yeah, I think they might get this. Don't often see Cav catch horse artillery, but they might get that one, and they didn't quite. And this is a very good dragoon unit here that the Russians have available. The Spanish can't form square, actually. If they wanted to commit to that, they could, but obviously lots of Cav dotted around. I would say cavalry advantage is very much with the Imperials in today's game. Mamelukes and HRE, both which rely heavily on Cav. Spanish can often bring quite a lot of Cav as well, but I don't know how much they have brought here today. And I mean, even like the Mameluke Cav units are huge as well, like 180 man unit back here. This is insane for like the size of NTW3. It really is. We got the King's German Legion and 1st Hussars. You got a good Cav here for the Brits as well, actually. They don't often bring good Cav because they just rely on, you know, squares, but they've got some good. And the Ragged Brigade, you don't often see the light dragoons being brought either. Possibly why their army's so small. Very elite units. Yeah, Green Rascals here. We've got the light bobs. Yeah, we've got some good units here. We've got the Wolf. Oh my gosh, yeah, they brought some good units. They actually got some nice volleys off there on some light cav that's been caught sleeping. Some Chasseur Cheval there. But yeah, it's going to be back with some more Napoleon Total War. I do enjoy showing it off. You guys do enjoy it. It's one of our most regular streams we do on a Monday. And if you ever wanted to take part in those streams, the best thing to do is join my Discord. The link, as always, is down below in the description. It's the best way to, yeah, ever get involved in any battles or send in your own replays to feature on the channel, like this player did here, who sent this one in. We have a militia unit, 196-man unit going in. There's actually more people outside that building than there are in it, because it's a 95-person cap. Yeah, very small building. There's plenty of reserves to go in. If I do sound a little unusual, it's not because of change of mic or anything. It's because I've got a cold. I've managed to get one in the middle of summer. In fairness, we have had a bit of rain and a bit of colder weather. So, yeah. It was very ironic. I managed to get a cold in the middle of summer. Just perfect timing, really is. And there's another building's been captured. The Brits in this one. Robert Crawford with the light bobs. Oh gosh, that's a good unit to get in there as well. Yeah, really good unit. I mean, some of it outside, I would have put something different in there. A 147-man unit going in there. I mean, they could just get destroyed by being blown up fully, or at least just a half strength by the French. So yeah, I don't know if I'd be putting the Brits. I wouldn't really put anything in there, really. Coldstream Guards as well. Wow, we've got some really elite units here for the for the Brits, that's for sure. Yeah, the Stormers, yeah, light for. They've literally brought. We have 2 light bobs as well. Yeah, we have a combat jet and also just a normal one. Wow, yeah, they've just gone like full light infantry. We've got Wellington as well. Yeah, it's expensive all round, and the morale's gonna be incredible. I mean, they can though, but Britain can afford to go small army because numbers are being made up elsewhere amongst the team. With the Royal Guard over Spain dueling with some skirmishers. It looks like the skirms are going to get sent packing, at least for now. They are orange lighting. They are orange lighting. A lot of generals around here, both French and Russian ones. So whether they just forgot to move him or... yeah, well, there are a couple of armies here. I mean, it's going to be difficult for the French and the Russians in this one. I don't know how I'd go about it, really, myself. I guess you have to try and strike at someone before these slow maneuvering Mamelukes get into position. Obviously, their calves kind of close at hand, but you need to kind of maybe try and strike for someone. Maybe the Spanish. They don't have a lot of cav support over here. They have a lot of militia type units. A lot of these that can't form square as well. So maybe these are the guys you go for. They have a lot of grenadiers. So they are provincial grenadiers. So they are grenadiers. 209, 193, 196. My gosh, yeah, big units. I mean, they have the guard, which are being used as for inspires, I think, which is a smart idea. That horse artillery for the Russians, which has been playing with fire all game, is. Well, it's back. It's back on the front line. Well, I say that as it disappears once again. Off he goes. Go and find something better to do. Oh, and there is a bit of engagement over here. I was like, I can't even hear anything going on over there. But yeah, there you go. France. Going in with some cavalry. I don't even know what that is. Maybe a hussar or something? Yeah, it looks like a hussar. Went in, found one of the few squares in the Spanish army, and also grenadier cavalry over here. It's not as good as like a Ledoux. This is a C4. It's not really a heavy cav. It's very much a light cav, but it's called Grenadiers Caballo of Ferdinand the 7th. And they are going to chase the hussars out. They might get these hussars. But they are back, they are going into enemy territory, so they do need to be careful. I'd say if the Russians, to be honest, if they could maybe go through the forest here, I imagine this Russian army is pretty solid in melee, so they certainly don't want to have a gunfight, that's for sure. Most of these armies here, obviously, well and truly outnumbered by the coalition. The French and the Russians are going to need to go to melee. They're going to need to do it. This forest, I feel like, could work as a nice vessel here. cover the advance, like hide the Russians until the last minute, jump onto the Spanish. The Spanish units here probably can't melee that great, and then the Russians can maybe roll down part of the line. That's what I'd at least hope. Maybe these units here might be pinning units, and we might be about to see more Russians appear out of the forest here if the Grenadiers keep going forward. The horse Grenadiers. There is some Russian calves sneaking about. Also generals as well. I guess that would be also a great way to win this game as the French take out coalition generals, because there are a lot of like militia type units which have low morale, which are obviously going to rely on general inspires and rallies. You can take those out. That is a huge asset for the coalition guard, especially like the Mamelukes and the Spanish. That will be massive to get rid of their generals. France also needs to be concerned as well is about using its cavalry. Speaking of just seeing that Hussar, I guess, be really aggressive over there. They seem like they have plenty of cav themselves, and it probably is better quality than the Mamelukes. But it's just, yeah, the Mamelukes and the HRE especially, like I said, having a lot of cav. Yeah, it's gonna cause some problems, that's for sure. A lot of cav here in the center, just sort of shaping up against the HRE. I imagine we're going to see the real sort of punch is going to come from wherever that 11 point is. Which is not here. This is the Egyptian campaign. Kind of shame they're moving, because they were going to face off against the Mamelukes. And that, you know, my roleplay sort of like excitement would be at a sort of like, yeah, I can't say what I wanted to say because YouTube would probably monetize the video, but yeah, the roleplay sort of like historian in me, very excited. What to say, but it's not the case. Looks like they're maybe moving down the line. Like I said, the 11 points what we're going to look for. I don't know if it's them over here. This looks like the Spanish campaign. That's the 8 points. So I'd have thought then that's the Russian campaign is slap bang in the middle over here somewhere, and it looks like maybe supporting Russia. Facing up against the Spanish and the HRE. Yeah, Russia giving ground there, losing some troops. Spain also has lost some, but I would definitely they come out better in that one. I mean, their units here are 200 in size. These like militia type units, they're designed just to stand and shoot and stuff in front of them. They can't do anything else. They can't really maneuver. They certainly can't deal with things in their flanks. But look at that! As soon as they get hit by artillery, they are redlining. This is how the French as well are going to have to get rid of them. Artillery. This is Italian artillery at point blank range. It's artillery and cavalry. That's going to have to be how it is. They're going to have to clear the close the gap here. Spain is giving ground. I think he's retreating to the forest, maybe get a bit more cover.
I fear
General's
your general
under attack.
is in mortal peril, sir.
Oh, he's getting shot. I think by just small arms fire. Yeah, this is definitely the 11 point. You can kind of tell from the uniforms. If you play enough NTW3, you can kind of recognize uniforms. Also, some of the units, and this is certainly this looks like a Danish or certainly a German sort of light infantry unit, sort of like that. So that's definitely the 11 point hit there. I don't know how far they're stretched though. No, this is all the Italian campaign as well. I don't. Sorry, the Egyptian campaign. I don't know whether they're just screening and then they're going to make a punch somewhere. I mean, if they could, this 8 point over here looks like he's obviously got the numbers to deal with the Brits. The Brits have a tiny, really token force here. And they are just destroying that building. Robert Crawford did get his troops out as well, wisely. So yeah, he's only lost one fellow. I would have been ashamed to see the light bobs here just get reduced to nothing. So I'm quite glad that that unit has got out. But yeah, the Mamelukes over here and like, the Mameluke Cav and British infantry, it's certainly, I would say, not enough really to stop the French. I think the French could certainly be aggressive over here. I think Mameluke infantry is certainly shifting to the center. Whether they're going to make a push once the Mameluke infantry is moved and it's just going to take too long to get back, maybe. But yeah, I mean, the French are going to take their time. They're going to just use artillery and try and bombard their way through this. And I think we are about to see a push of some sort here. This is a very slow-moving cavalry. Here it goes. This is Saxon heavy cav, maybe? I think it is, looking at that mustard yellow, but they've hit a Spanish unit right in the face. There you go. Routing that infantry very easily. Next one's obviously already affected. They're trying to side shot the cavalry here. Gonna go into the next line, and then here come the French infantry. This is exactly what they need to do. Cavalry smash on in, followed up by infantry. Yeah, it's definitely have to say Saxon heavy cavalry. Cool unit, you don't often see it. Infantry going in here. This is all the 11 points doing all this right now. Bringing up the infantry. Get 2 units on every Spanish unit here. You be careful off the Fib. I think they are okay at the moment. Saxons managed to get through another unit. I imagine their effectiveness, though, is running out. I think they are going to fall back. The player is going to send in something else. This looks like a Dragoon unit being sent in. The cavalry here redlining, but they are going to get just charged in a moment by Dragoons. So you need to be careful of that. Infantry here as well can also go in. They need to be definitely get out of Saxon if we can. Here comes the 11-point. HRE also over here. A lot of these guys can't form the square. But the sheer amount of shots is doing a lot of damage into the French. So yeah, they try to advance in some areas. They are redlining, so you need to be careful. Head-on assault, I don't think is the wisest idea for the French. They need to preserve life. Look at this. Oh, this is the column. This is the assault column, I think. A massive grenadier unit. Yeah, we have grenadiers, the Italian guard behind. We have some very good units here. And the carabineers, the guard. Yeah, some really, really good units there. Smashing through the HRE. They have carried on into the Spanish units behind. It's getting messy down here. Some good units. And obviously those guard units of the Italians are in the spines. You need to be careful of unit crossing here. It's a little bit messy. It is a lot to sort of maneuver, I'll admit, a lot of individual pieces there. Looks like French cab over here, where they're just trying to tie down this HRE cavalry so we can't operate over on this push. It's failed there, that's for sure. Bit of a severe amount of unit crossing here by the Dragoons. You need to be careful of that again. French again. Well, it's actually Italian, to be precise. Head-on assault here by the guard. There's the guard going in. Those green uniforms turning a little red, probably with a bit of Spanish and also Italian blood. But there you go, easy win for them there. The French, once again, they managed on the second attempt to rout that cavalry. They were going to try and get the gun, but they are going to get signed still by Dragoons. Good defensive play there by the HRE. Players saying recently in videos, players don't seem to defend their artillery. There's a good example of defending their artillery. That was a really good job. Grenadiers are still holding on. Let's just have a look at the rest of the battlefield. Looks like a bit of a cav fight taking place over here. Looks like France lost out initially to the Grenadiers. Gonna win eventually through the Russian Cossacks. Looks like France again made another strike. I don't know what they went for over here. I don't know. Just trying to break the Spanish lines. I really do not know what they went for there. But it's all going on here. France's push, though, is starting to run out of manpower. A bit of steam is being lost. As looks like they're going to get this Dragoon here. And the gun will probably get lost now, that 5-pounder. They've actually disengaged. Here comes the Mameluke Cav, though. I don't know how many of these French units can form square. The guards of the Italians certainly can. More cavalry going in here, though, more Dragoons. Not giving the French a chance to form square, even if they could. But yeah, this might get counted. This French assault here might get counted. And like I said, I don't know how much more the... I mean, I think they have got quite a lot more. They had like 2,000 troops. You hope they have more. As the camels go in, I presume they have bonuses against cavalry. So they've won that fight. Whether that's because they have bonuses or whether because the cavs just exhausted. Trying to get side charges here. They are routing the HRE still, but it's certainly not as effective as it once was. Here comes the Mamelukes. They're going to try and return the favor. They're going to go for this gun for sure here. The Italians are not really defending it at all. They have no cavalry fired defending that gun. That's an easy artillery kill. A prime example of not defending your artillery that people have obviously been sort of commenting on as well. Infantry behind can shoot it, but job's done now. That's what the French needed, was that artillery just to chew up the Mamelukes in front of them. That's what's going to make the difference. These Mameluke units can't form a square, but they don't need to. Again, they just need to worry about what's in front of them. These are better infantry though. It's still 100. They actually look pretty well trained, those Mamelukes. We got British Green Rascals over here as well to try and support. But this push is finally coming to an end. So the Mamelukes cav have routed, but so they are going to help sort of stabilize this front here. The HRE have just about held on. HRE is kind of pretty low on troops for HRE sizes anyway. I don't know where the rest of Russia's army is. It just seems like it's, well, it's not non-existent. It is the smallest army by a little bit, but yeah. It looks more excellent Spanish, that's for sure. We have got a whole load more allied troops here. Yeah, Germans, all the military Italians. They could be French. They might be something else, those guys. I already don't know. Yeah, France made its push. Lost quite a bit, but has done a lot of damage. But the good thing about these units of the coalition is they are so big, they will return probably at least once, unless you can farm them down. But the British now doing what British do best, and they are just standing in front of the French, and they're going to just start blasting. And they got obviously these incredibly good units here. The King's German Legion Light Foot. They've got the light bobs, huge units as well themselves for British standards anyway, 150. And yeah, they're going to obviously just start shooting and shoot up the Brits. Here goes the push though. The Mamelukes going in. Oh my gosh, they're getting blasted as they go in as well. It's still green lining. I say that. They have got in there. I wonder how good they are. Will they win? The French, they're pretty good at melee. They can get some side shots. I mean, look at the size of these units. They barely made a dent with their volleys as they charged in. I mean, like I said, they're doing okay. This one is redlining. That might rout and that might cause problems. We will see. But yeah, the Mamelukes going in. The French have stopped a push here. It looks like Mameluke cav has been repelled there, but then now just getting shot in the face by the Mameluke infantry. And yeah, that's a very dead dragoon. That's not getting out of there. Or maybe it is. That is very lucky. Mameluke infantry. Yeah, it's not holding. And evidently they do okay to start with, but then they eventually break. Oh, they are grenadiers technically. G1. Yeah, I'm not surprised they're one. They're moving slowly. I'm just going to be careful here. They're friendly fire themselves. Here comes a whole load of camels, and the camels are going to go straight down the middle. They're going to test that French dragoon, and I guess the squares the French here. And well, the French squares failed. They're non-existent. And here come more camels. Again, more squares failed. King's German Legion just forming square in the center there. I don't know what that play is. Yeah, just kind of being an obstacle for the camels. It actually looks like the camels might get a bit of a breakthrough there. Some red lining and orange lining going on. Infantry here is all shattered. Mamelukes are falling back though, as the French kind of advance to take advantage of that morale debuff from retreating friendlies. Like I said, whether France, I guess France, it's hard to push because you just close the gap. Right now they are just really shooting these Mamelukes at least and killing some of their infantry, which is something I guess. Mameluke camels have just about failed to break through, but my gosh, it looks mighty close. They were close. If they could have backed that with infantry, that would have been an effective charge, I think. They would have broken through there. Over on this side, looks like Russia's getting mauled a little bit. I'm not really sure how they've managed to get themselves mauled. Looks like they have got into melee or something down here. There's a lot of dead bodies there. I mean, it looks like a melee of some sort. And Spain is got Russia on the ropes here. Like I said, this Russian army just seems small. I mean, obviously we're looking from a coalition perspective, so we can see all the coalition but not all the Imperials. Even still, I would have thought by now we'd have seen more of the Russians make an appearance if they were there. I imagine you guys got some good kills at the end of this game. I mean, they are Aggressive. Oh, the Stormers going in. So they're surely not. I mean, it could be for the Coldstreams. I mean, they're knocking about. They're in the back lines here. Where are the Coldstreams which could go in from melee? If the Brits can obviously set this up correctly and just sort of, you know, find a weak point in the French line, they could send the Coldstreams in. It's a big unit. Back into a Mamelukes, maybe. And support on the flanks of wherever they're pushing with British lines. Could work. Could work. Having just played a scenario recently with Britain, I mean it's a different period of Britain, but still Peninsula War, and you're trying to push as Britain, and you've got to try and shoot your way through the enemy. Oh, it takes time, especially in like little cav as well. But it's obviously working. They routed that French unit over there. That's one gone, and these are quite small units. Looks like France is going to give it a go. Maybe go for the melee. It's the best way to beat the British. They don't like it up and do the Brits. They don't like it up them. If you know the reference, good on you. Very much more a British reference, I feel like. Howitzer here. Okay, very interesting. I think it is firing canister. I think, yeah. It's redlining as well. But it's certainly, I think, it's firing canister at the Spanish. The Spanish are doing okay. I mean, they are. I mean, if the ship is doing up here, it's flanking the Russians. This has been a mismatch. I mean, the Russian army, I think, is the smallest imperial we discussed earlier. So where it was going to have a tough time. I guess unless it was against the Brits, that's probably ideally the army actually wanted. It wants. I'd imagine wants to go to it's not looking good for the French team. It's got I mean, they're doing damage to these British units here, and they have routed the Stormers. There you go, 46 and left. But by getting so close to the Brits, try and route them, route the Brits themselves. They're just getting closer to the Brits and allow the Brits, to take advantage of their accuracy and their reloading skill, and doing a lot more damage to those French units. Napoleon's breaking through here though. Go back to them. There's going to be more cav following on. It's a little bit messy, bit of a pull through here. Wallachian unit. Yeah, for that. They're going to go through that gap. French cav reacts. It's probably going to try and stop this shenanigans from taking place. But yeah, more non-square units breaking here for the French as the Mamelukes go in. Mostly, I think this is the Egyptian campaign. Most of the Egyptian campaign units can form square. At least the army I usually bring, the build I have, usually. It's mostly all square. And it's still a pretty large army. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's one of the lights. I think the Laguerre can't form square for the Egyptian campaign, but that's it. This cav here is just now sat dormantly. It needs to get a move on and go to technique the Mameluke cav. Or go for the Mameluke infantry, which is indeed its target. French cav repulsed. There's the Mameluke infantry and cavalry combined. More French cav coming in. All looks like light cav, which I don't know how easy that's going to defeat. I don't really know the Mameluke army and cav. But it's 180-man unit. I don't think he's... Well, actually, it might win. It might only win off sheer numbers. I'd imagine it's a pretty bad cav because it's a huge unit, but evidently it won that fight. It's evidently better than the French light cav, and it's going to chase off all this French light infantry. This is now a real problem for France. This is the breakthrough. This is the point. Mameluke cav and camels going through again. We've got another melee with the swordsman over here. They're against a square, or whether it's a square. It's a Laguerre unit though that they are dealing with. France actually has managed to push the Brits out of the forest. They are actually making a bit of a push here themselves. Mameluke's all routing here. Britain has fallen back. He's still very much in one piece. Yeah, a lot of Mamelukes breaking there, but that's fine. The Mamelukes are elsewhere are breaking through. Great numbers. France has actually now sent troops over here to help bail out Russia. The Italian Guard are over here, so this is 18 was the 11 point 1812, I think. Yeah, Russia sent that. Look at that. The French cav is just forcing the Spanish to stay in square. I think this is technically, like, I don't know, this is technically a little cheesier because you're like on the corner, so the Spanish square can't get you. I don't know if it's technically a game abuse. I think some people frown upon it. I'm not really sure. Some people just like, it's a valid tactic. You can deal with it if you want to deal with it. This Russian Dragoon, which is very, very good. I'm excited to see that go into action. Probably could go into action here against all these Spanish units that can't form square. They're just kind of marching towards it. We'll see. Mamelukes have not been contained. I thought maybe they'd been contained. No, they have not. British cabs gone in as well. We've got the Hussars in here. Routing Frenchies. And yeah, I mean, squares getting routed here. I think this is a large Egyptian square, or Egyptian campaign square, but it's been routed, I think, by infantry here and cavalry combining. Yeah, the Mameluke cav going in. It's going to get the guns, though. It's going to get the guns, just about. Might have been routed. I don't know who's been got routed there. Spain's, maybe? Yeah, Spain's square finally got routed. That shenanigans is over. We're now going to see the Italian Guard go in. So they're in a bit of a small state at this point. The cav might assist. It might just go around them. Might not touch the unit. There you go. Small victories on this side for France at the moment. Gap here, obviously. I mean, this is another problem for France. They just don't have enough troops. It seems to kind of block all these gaps. So there's now 2 HRE units here just going to march through. They're going to obviously get a straight line at the cav here. Whether the cav is going to make a jump for it, these guys can't square. Probably not, though. They'll get at least a volley off before they make contact. Spanish campaign over here after making some gains in the forest. It's quite hard to see. They are now getting forced back. There you go, routed. British Hussars here do very, very good job. And yeah, Brits and Mamelukes combining nicely. I don't know how much the Brits really have left, to be honest. Kind of hard to tell in that forest. Hopefully they have plenty left, because I mean they had not a lot to start with, and they had good units, which I feel like you shouldn't really be at any point shouldn't have been in any danger. Here goes that Russian cav. It actually got a better charge than I expected. It did not get a volley off. It's going to rout that HRE unit. Probably get a couple more here if it only had infantry to support it. Russian infantry, though, is busy on the other side of the building, charging more Spanish infantry. And there you go, yeah, side shots here from some other like Spanish volunteers. They're starting to rout the cav here. General gone. That is that's the 8-point Spanish campaign gone. Yeah, very much gone. General dead, and yeah, the British Hussar there. It was the Light Dragoons, in fact. Light Dragoons, yeah, they got in behind and mopped up the rest. And that's unfortunate there for France. This player, he did okay. Did okay. Made a little bit of a push here and there. He held off against the Mamelukes for a while, and then just became one too many breakthroughs. Spain here with some numbers. I mean, it's bleeding. This is probably was the easiest army to take out in my assessment, to be honest. Bar, I guess you could isolate the Brits with their small size. The general dead. The general dead. What? Whose general was that? Was that the Russian general? Might have been the Russian general. Not really sure who's that. Yeah, I'm going with Russian general because he's mass routing here. also might just have something to do with just like, you know, he's pretty much out of guys. Oh yeah, the Dragoons. Yeah, I thought for some reason this Dragoon unit as well, the HRE was a Russian unit. No, it's absolutely not. It's taking out those guns, those Italian guns. But yeah, that's Russia out. I honestly don't know whether. I mean, 1812, it's done its job. Well, sort of done its job. It's got troops left, obviously. It's going to be one of the last men standing here. One with the Egyptian campaign. But yeah, that push costly. I maybe needed backing up as well by an ally. Should have maybe done with some support. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, it was always going to be tough. These horde factions are such a great way to sort of just kind of nullify the French, really. Smother them with gunpowder, or in the case of the Mamelukes, just smother them with swords and cavalry. But they are also glass cannons in the sense that if you don't set them up properly, when they start to crumble, the whole sort of structure in the army comes crashing down. You just get mass routed. But yeah, they played a good game today. To be honest, they accepted they were going to take a lot of losses at the coalition. They just, yeah, I mean, this is also, I mean, the French player here has given up. He's just sending his troops in to die. He's charging head on in at the HRE units. It's not how you want to really be charging a mass faction. You want to be charging on angles, cavalry, artillery. Artillery, kind of a lot of it got sniped by the coalition, which is again hard to sort of counter when you're playing against the Mamelukes. Yep, building captured. I mean, I don't think they need to worry about LOC. I think they're going to win this outright just by defeating the enemy. We've got a general coming forward here, going to his honourable death. I think it's a general. Yeah, I think it is a general. It's an odd-looking general, but I think it is one. And he goes. Died to Dragoons. There you go, a really fun battle in a sense. Maybe not the closest one we've seen in the world, but you know, fun factions and fun style of play. Something a little different, to be honest. There's the Dragoons there, just chopped up that general, and I think he might be the last man standing. No, another general over here. They just need to kill this one off. Mamelukes have ample amount of cavalry, and they are not going and using their cavalry. What are they doing? There you go. There's another general dead. I was like, this general just needs to charge straight in. And then in they go. Slaughter them, boys. Slaughter them. Redlining general and a routing general. And we should have now the end results, hopefully, appearing on your screen any second now. I can't see a single Frenchie or Russian. It's still in the game. And there you go. The victory screen for the coalition and the end results also for the coalition and the Imperials. So yeah, this was sent in by G, who was playing as Spanish. So it's from his perspective we're looking at, I believe. So yeah, so you can see all the stats here for like the army sizes. They're absolutely massive. I can't remember what the kills are like, but I imagine the French have probably got some pretty decent kills, to be honest, because they've had to try and shoot a lot of troops. I mean, alone 11,000 with the Spanish and the Mamelukes, which I think in itself probably outnumbers the Imperials, let alone with the HRE and the Brits on top of that. But yeah, there are the kills there. Well done to everyone that took part in this one, especially the coalition, because they won. But well done to the French as well. It was going to be and the Russians. It was going to be a tough ask. They did their best. We'll have a quick look at the unit stats. 254 kills for the infantry Almeria. This is just some militia guys. Then the guards getting 161 kills, 122 with another one there. Some militia getting 102. Spanish guns getting 95. But yeah, not masses of kills. These infantry units, they can't really shoot to save their lives. And there's just so many of them as well. Grenadiers, yeah, didn't really even see action, I don't think, to be honest. Yeah, like, well, this one saw a bit of action. 45 losses, 7 losses though. Yeah, not. This one got 100 losses actually. This one I think might have routed this Grenadier here. 25 kills is not great at all. But there you go, guys. That is today's NTW3 battle. If you did enjoy and want to see more, do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're around here, and a comment to show support. Do also feel free to check out the videos appearing on your screen now. There's some other cracking battles there to get your teeth into. If you haven't seen any of those, worth checking those out. But until next time, bye for now.